Chapter 5 Rizal and his childhood years at Calamba.
Calamba, at the time of Rizal's birth, was an agricultural town. The town was virtually owned by the Dominican friars. As a friar estate, Calamba became a prosperous town due to its specialization in the production of sugar. Life was filled with the hardships on the part of the people who were just tenants in the Dominican hacienda. Jose was born on June 19, 1861. Based on the accounts of Rizal himself, his mother nearly died during his delivery owing to his very big head. 3 days after his birth, Rizal was baptized by Father Rufino Holandes at the Calamba Catholic Church with Father Pedro Casañas as his godfather. Rizal was the seventh child in the family of 11 children of Don Francisco and Doña Tudora. The children of the Rizal family in their birth order were as follows: Saturnina, Pasiano, Narcisa, Olympia, Lucia, Maria, Rizal, Concepcion, Josefa, Trinidad, and Soledad. Rizal came from a mixture of races. His great-grandfather from his father's side was a Chinese merchant named Domingo Lamco. Domingo Lamco assumed the surname Mercado in keeping with the gubernatorial decree of Narciso Claveria on the use of Spanish surnames in the Philippines by all Spanish subjects in the colony and to free themselves and their children from the prejudices associated with the Chinese surname. Rizal's grandfather from his father's side was Juan Mercado, who married a Chinese Filipino mestiza, Cerila Alejandrino. At one point in time, Juan Mercado became a gobernadorcillo of Binyan, Laguna. Juan and Cerila had 14 children, one of whom was Rizal's father, Don Francisco. Rizal's family belonged to the Principalia class or ruling elite of his town. The affluence of Rizal's family can clearly be gleaned from the following: the family's predilection for studies, its stone house of adobe and hardwood, ownership of carriage and horses, the symbol of wealth and respectability during those times, a home library with numerous volumes of books, presence of personal servants taking care of the needs of the children, and private tutoring of the children in the family's domicile. And also the family's thriving business in rice and sugar and its ability to send their children for education in Manila further indicate their socioeconomic status in Calamba. Rizal's father, Don Francisco Mercado, took courses in Latin and philosophy at the Colegio de San Jose in Manila. He described his father owing to his honest frugality and industry. His mother, Doña Tudora Alonso, completed her education at Colegio de Santa Rosa, a prestigious college for girls in Manila then. He described his mother as a woman of more than average education, a disciplinarian, a woman of culture and religion, a sacrificing industrious housewife. Rizal learned from her the values of warmth and virtue. Being a child, Rizal had good memories of his childhood days in Calamba. He grew up as a pious Catholic owing to the training provided him by his mother. At 3 years old, he learned how to pray and even read the Bible. This training he had at home was strengthened by his frequent visit to Father Leoncio Lopez, the parish priest of Calamba. At the age of 4, Rizal experienced his first sorrow. This was when his young sister Concepcion, whom he fondly called Concha, died. As a young boy, he spent many hours down the shore of Laguna de Bay, thinking of what was beyond, dreaming of what might be over on the other side of the waves. From the foregoing usual activity of Rizal at the lakeshore, it can be noted that he was a good observer, noting every detail of what he actually saw. These observations of Rizal had an impact on the shaping of the political and social ideas later. One of the stories Rizal never forgot narrated to him by his mother was the fable entitled The Moth and the Flame. It was about a moth that had warned their daughter against the flame, so beautiful, so inviting, yet fatal and deceitful, for it destroyed whoever came too close. But the little moth didn't listen to her mother, so that she went close to the flame, and as she flew closer and closer, she dazzled by the flame, fell and fell in it. This story can be considered as Rizal's biography. Just like the moth that died a victim of its illusion, Rizal died a martyr in search for the light of truth, freedom, and justice. There were indications that Rizal was intellectually gifted. He was able to master the alphabet when he was 3 years old. The young Rizal also showed his knack in sketching, painting, sculpture, and literature. Doña Teodora's constant prodding for Rizal to express his feeling through verses, Rizal was able to write his first poem when he was 8 years old. This poem was entitled Sa Aking Kabata, or To My Fellow Children. The poem clearly reveals that Rizal, even during his tender years, had the concept of nationalism. As a young boy, he was already aware that these people had a language of their own. This language, just like other language, had its own alphabet and system writing, which according to Rizal disappeared because they were swallowed by tidal waves. Here, the young Jose calling on his few children to love their native tongue. At the year 1871, his mother incarcerated due to her alleged complicity in the attempted murder of his uncle's unfaithful wife. This happened right after the arrival of his uncle, Jose Alberto, from Europe. Doña Teodora was arrested and made to walk a distance of 50 kilometers from Calamba to Santa Cruz.
He was freed later by Governor General Izquierdo as a result of the request of the young Soledad, whose graceful dancing charmed the Governor General and his guests.
An incident that greatly influenced Rizal's school and life work was the martyrdom of Gomburza. The influence of the aforementioned event was evident in his dedication of the El Filibusterismo to the memory of Gomburza.
Chapter 6. Formal Schooling at the Village School.
After bidding his parents goodbye, Rizal left Calamba in order to study at Piñan. Pasiano accompanied him in his trip on board a Karamota. Pasiano accompanied Rizal to the village school under the charge of Maestro Justiniano Cruz the next day. Even at this level of education, Rizal was able to demonstrate his intellectual superiority. While pursuing elementary schooling at the village school, Rizal also took painting lessons under Maestro Cruz's father-in-law, the old Juanco. Before leaving Miñan, he made his last visit to the town church and bade farewell to Maestro Cruz and his classmates. Rizal returned to Calamba after receiving a letter from his sister Saturnina. He returned to his hometown on December 17, 1870.